sort of had almost like a running list of like, I want songs that feel like this, or songs that have this kind of movement, or do this, or the takeaway is this, And I spent a lot of time sort of conceptualizing what movements could be like in songs before I even really picked up an instrument. Um, and it just kind of helped like focus me when it was time to actually like start writing riffs and putting the details together and stuff. Um, so and that comes from different places when you take the instrument out of the equation, it opens up other ideas too. It actually helps me break out of just a guy sitting down with a guitar.
Did you use the same tuning than the previous album?
Um, we have a couple tunings on this record. I think we're just in generally two tunings throughout the whole record. But yeah, it's like familiar tunings from the other albums for sure.
What about Joe vocals? I think there is a huge improvement in his voice, especially on is the guy for the clean vocals, right?
Yeah, I mean he's getting better, which is awesome. He still he still has tricks left, which is cool. I think he's getting very, very, very good at knowing what he shines with, like what his strengths are and stuff. And I think over the years, trying different things, doing things on albums, whether it's like going for a certain type of scream or a singing thing, or he's just like really starting to understand, like, I want to do it like this because I know I'll do it well, or like, I want to hit a melody that's closer to this range because this is something I know, like, I'll be able to do super confidently. And like, it's cool to see him sort of have that self-awareness and dial himself too. So like on this record we were really conscious of like, all right, let's do stuff that's going to be sick, that's going to work, that you're going to be able to do every night, things like that. And we sort of like had a really specific lane for some of that stuff. And yeah, I mean, I think his performance on this was my favorite that he's done on any Fit record for sure. Um, his singing voice is improving. His scream is super solid. It's just like the dynamics of everything he does are there in a cool way. So I'm definitely proud of him for this one. He really did kill it.
Do you agree that there are more clean vocals on this album?
Uh,
Not really.
I don't know. I haven't really compared it, I guess, to the last one. There might be less than the last record.
Really, I feel
I
it's because maybe they are better. I would say, and
I
for
mean,
me, it's
there might be parts that are more forward, like at times, but I don't know. We may have sung more on the last record. It's probably pretty close. I don't know. I haven't really looked. I haven't really counted it. When we write, we just write, you know, what works for the song and make sure, it's more about what suits parts than like how much of this are we doing or that. So I wouldn't really know, but it's probably in the same zone as like where we've been. I don't think it was a conscious effort to do anything more or less.
Mhm. What did you try to improve on this specific album as a producer?
um Improve upon, that's a good question. I mean, I will always want to write better songs, so I try to do that. But I guess specifically, like, I want to be taken seriously as a metal band. um I think where we came from and the subgenres we have existed in and where we are now and where we're headed, like, is definitely, I think, in our heads an effort for people to sort of start to see us as more of just like, this is just a cool aggressive metal band, that can live in a few spaces, do different types of tours, like appeal to different types of kids, who like death metal, who like Swedish melodeath, who like just like classic thrash stuff. So it's like we kind of want to have our own sound and also, you know, exist in a place where we can have cool opportunities to tour with lots of different styles of metal, because we have such a like varied taste in this genre. that we don't want to be just limited to doing one thing. And I think doing one thing gets kind of stale. Obviously there's bands that are that's who they are and they're great. It's like you know, I don't want to hear Slayer or Meshuggah do anything but exactly what they do. Um, but for us, I think it's like our ability to kind of jump around between some of the subgenre stuff that like kind of gives us an identity and there was definitely an effort to make sure that all feels good and flows and um you know, like is as good as it can be. So I think those that was definitely on my mind a bit. But yeah, I don't know, just try to write songs that I think people will connect to. Um, every record feels like the same struggle, like in that sense. And then you just do what you can do.
You are talking about Swedish death metal. It's funny because tomorrow I will see in Paris Soilwork with In Flames,
Oh,
with
cool.
Arch Enemy, and this is a bill that I saw in the late '90s.
Yeah, it's
So
it's a classic tour. That's awesome. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we've been lucky enough to do some stuff with In Flames and Arch Enemy, and obviously we grew up listening to those bands, so it's they're awesome. It's great.
I think you grew up with those influences like the Black Dahlia Murder, also because they are quite influenced by also this Swedish melodic death metal.
Yeah, we probably came up around the same time. I think Dahlia probably would have shared similar influences to us. They just went all in on that sound. And we were like hardcore kids that stumbled upon these Swedish records. So like I think we obviously I'm sure their tastes are all over the place like any band would be, but like yeah, we had a bit more of a lean towards other stuff also, but obviously it was like a huge part of our DNA too. Um, and it's funny, like the older we get, the more we gravitate towards that stuff still. Because there's not a ton of bands that are really doing that now. Even those bands, I mean, I love all those bands, but they have changed stylistically over time
Mm.
too. And you get kind of like a different thing from an In Flames or an Arch Enemy today. And not that it's there's nothing wrong with it at all, but we always just sort of look back on those classic records like, man, this shit is the best. So, yeah, but Dahlia is fucking great. Obviously, like I think in America, I don't think anyone really touches them on that style. That's sort of they're just top of the food chain when it comes to players and everything. So, big Dahlia fan too. I'm sure we all grew up listening to those same records.
And I made also something similar between the Black Dahlia Murder and you about the artwork. The last artwork from the Black Dahlia Murder is also a hole, like a hole in the middle of the artwork, like you.
No.
It's different,
Yeah, it's
but
like white. Yeah, yeah. I saw
it's
the hole. Yeah, we both put the hole out around the same time. I was like, oh god damn it, they got a hole too. Yeah.
but maybe it's like a common idea. I would say, maybe you are following the society, falling into a hole like this, or what's the
Yeah.
meaning?
Yeah, I mean, our record's called The Nothing That Is, and it's sort of like I mean, it kind of explains itself. It's like how we're sort of headed towards nothingness with our current state and path, and what symbolizes getting sucked into nothing better than a big black hole. So, I mean, I was looking for that style. Sorry, my dog's all over me. Come on, bro.
Mhm.
I was looking for that style of symbolism, and that jumped out. I think Adam Burke, who's the artist that we've worked with for years, he was really into the concept too. So it was yeah, it was kind of really easy to get to the finish line with that idea. Yeah, and then I don't know where Dahlia's came from, but theirs is cool too. At least their colors are different. I was like,
Yeah,
man, this is you know, great minds think alike. But yeah, it's funny because like you obviously there's no way we would see each other's album arts
No.
6 months before, like we've been sitting on this thing for months and months before it actually gets announced and stuff. I had that artwork done a while ago, um, and then it's like, and then you see it and kids are like, oh, it looks like did you guys copy that band or vice versa? And it's like, bro, we're in our own little fish bowls. Like, there's no way we would have, you know, ever known. But I'm actually happy that theirs is like a different colorway because it would
Yeah.
be very easy. This is the first time we went like black on a record. We've had a big blue record and a red record and a green record, and I was like, this is a pretty intense record. It's dark. I was like, let's go heavier blacks and purples and make it feel darker, which is something they normally could have done too. So we almost like switched up styles at least, So I was like, okay, good. But yeah, a black hole tour, a battle of the black hole tour would be pretty cool one of these days.
Do you still tour with the band?
I haven't toured with Fit in a long time. When I got pretty busy producing records, and they start to get full-time tour opportunity offers, we had made the call to like, let's get another guitar player so that, the band wouldn't slow down because, I admittedly, I didn't want to be a touring musician for a living. I want to be a record producer, and, when I was at that crossroads, I was just like, I'm happy to do this band and be, all in on any creative thing that is involved with the band and be heavy handed on the writing and this and that. But like, I couldn't do 10 months out of the year. And some of the crazy stuff that, we were all looking at that time, so Tim's in the band and they tour as a 5-piece. So it sounds how it's supposed to sound. And, you get the right show. And he's great. He's like better guitar player than me. It's like, it's better. It's better that I don't at the moment,
Have you heard that Ice-T called you the Dr. Dre of producing metal?
Yes, I have heard that. Yes, I hear it all the time.
How do you feel?
I mean, it's cool. It's flattering. I love that dude. He's like, we've been working together for a long time, and we just have such a good working relationship. It's fucking, yeah. He's a very easy guy to get along with and get stuff done in the studio, and he's cool as shit. He's way cooler than he should be for how celebrity status level he is, But yeah, we're like, I appreciate all the love he shows me too. It's very flattering because I'm sure he's crossed paths with lots of engineers and producers over the years and stuff. So it's cool.
We had Ernie this summer at Hellfest in interview,
cool.
and
Nice.
he told us about the guests, on this album, on the Body Counts album. But
yeah,
who could say that this guest would be the previous Pink Floyd guitarist?
Yeah, it's pretty insane. I mean,
did you meet him or was it online?
No, I got the track from him. I mean, we originally had that song as an idea, like, okay, we want to do a version of Comfortably Numb, and we were doing it with our own guitar work and stuff, and we're like, man, we got to clear this song, and it's not easy to get a Pink Floyd song cleared sometimes, if they don't want somebody doing it, it can get shut down very easy. So we were like, I don't even know if we're going to be able to use this track, And we were like, let's just try to get it to him. I see it like obviously as a pretty good manager and the label. We're like, dude, let's try to figure it out. So like a good amount of time has passed and that track was still kind of in limbo, we're like wrapping up a record and who knows. Finally, like he hears it and not only does he clear it, but he's like, I want to play on it. And everyone's like, okay, let's just clear out all these guitars we were working on, like, do your thing, sir, so yeah, he did it pretty quick too and just whipped something up in one of his studios and sent a couple of tracks over for me to mess around with. And yeah, it's crazy. Like never in my life would I thought he would even hear music I make, more so as be like, oh, let me get on that, I mean, it's his song, so it's cool, but like obviously it's just such a wildly different version. that we were like, is he gonna hate this? Like this, but and also we're like fucking with a classic, where it's like, is this even a good idea? Like at that point, but it was cool. I'm glad he was like into it, and I think you know, I think it's cool that he had the perspective to look at it like it's cool. It's a cool message in the song, and um, yeah, it's kind of blown away. It was definitely one of those like, oh man, never in my life would I
Yeah.
see that coming.
Is it one of your highlights in your career?
I mean, it's awesome. Like, yeah, I feel like that's working in the space I work in with like extreme metal and hardcore and stuff. That sort of project just seems like unobtainable, but you never know. You never know where shit goes.
And there is another amazing project that you're going to launch very soon. The album is already one of my favorite this year, with Better Lovers.
Oh, thanks, man.
It's
Appreciate
an
that.
incredible album. I know Greg for years, I'm one of the yeah, I love Dillinger Escape Plan. I feel there's this crazy energy in this album.
Yeah, I mean, that record is awesome. We've we put a lot of love into that one too, and I mean, it's a really cool joining of forces with that band. All those dudes are like some of my favorite musicians, and getting to make music with all them too is just awesome. And yeah, super proud of that record. I'm just like watching my heroes shine and standing next to them too. It's a lot of fun. There's just so much energy in it, so many different types of songs and tricks and stuff. Like it's very engaging in a cool way. So very much looking forward to getting out there with that one too.
Great. And to conclude, so you won't be on the US tour of Fit. It starts in 10 days. Uh,
Yeah, it's coming up. They better
yeah.
start practicing.
Will,
Yeah.
will you see them live?
Yeah, I'll be at the New York show, so that's like day 1 or 2 of tour, and they rehearse at my spot too, so we'll all be together for a bit.
And then Europe after.
Yeah,
But
so they're the 18th to the 18th, I think they're in the States, and then they go right to Europe for another month, UK and Europe, and
but
so
no French, no French
no
venue this
French,
time.
which is super annoying. And it was not our we couldn't get a hold on a venue. Like it was just there's just a lot of traffic around the time, and then we even tried to move the tour at one point to try to get France. Yeah, it was like this fluke thing where we just like couldn't get the date we needed. It would have scrapped it would have just messed up like a whole tour. But we just yesterday confirmed a show in France. So we will be there very early, or we'll be there in the first half of next year. So
All right. Is it a festival or a show?
I
Ah,
can't say yet,
yeah,
but we
yeah.
will be there. Yeah.
But yeah, maybe I can see what type of huge show that you could play with.
I couldn't tell you if it was a really big cool show or a
Yeah,
small club show, but we will
it's
a hundred
it's a great
percent
news.
100% be in France next year, very in the first half of the year. So
Great. Thank you very much for this very cool interview.
yeah, no problem, man. Thank you for having me. Always happy to chat.
And thank you, Will. And have a listen to this new Fit for an Autopsy album. It's a great one. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Talk to you
Thank
soon.
you.